So Doug Ford put a statement out there recently that generally rings true with everyone. It was a little bit on the late side, but better late than never. In regards to Canada's self-defense laws, that needs to change. So what happened recently, and it got me thinking about an interview I had seen a few days ago. Until a little while back, Doug Ford said that the Ontario system for self-defense is actually broken after a man had been arrested for assaulting a home intruder.
What?
The way I interpret that is you came into someone else's house looking for problems and you found one. What are you mad about? You got exactly what it is that you were looking for. So in this case, I think you would be hard-pressed to find people that wouldn't agree with what Doug Ford had to say in stating that the Ontario system is broken when it comes to actually standing up for people that are defending themselves when they were the ones that were sleeping. Imagine for a moment, you're sleeping in your bed. You're awakened by a noise or a banging going on downstairs or someone trying to break into your house. They successfully break into your house. Now, you don't know if this is one person, two, or three. And as much as Canada can brag about living in a society that's disarmed, it almost seems like the only people that are really disarmed are the citizens that aren't asking or trying to cause any problems. In short, criminals don't let you know or report that they actually own or possess a gun. Trust me, those guns aren't legal. And so a couple of weeks ago, they asked Doug about this exact same predicament about self-defense when it comes to a home invader.
Breaking into homes, you heard about that one family, 8 people showed up to their home, eight guys, and they pistol whipped the father. The mother had the 1-year-old begging that they don't touch him, ripping the rings off. You know, this is just out of control now here. People have to be held accountable. And then, once I'm on a roll now, did everyone hear about the story in Lindsay? So this criminal that's wanted by the police breaks into this guy's house. This guy gives him a beating, and this guy gets charged. And the other guy gets charged. But something is broken. I know if someone breaks into my house or someone else's, you're going to fight for your life. This guy has a weapon. You're going to use any force you possibly can to protect your family. I'm telling you, I know everyone would. I'd be scared to break into Kevon's house. Look at that, he's like a linebacker. He'd beat the living crap out of the guy, as he should. Because enough's enough here.
Yeah, and what he just said, that's only if you're dealing with one person, maybe two, and they don't have a on them. And so you think to yourself, yes, the criminal code in Canada is bad, especially when it comes down to self-defense. It's not viable to keep it the way that it is. If the person's on the run and you can get to the phone, call the police, then fine, do that. But the way that things are structured right now, it almost seems like it is incentivizing criminals to continue with criminal activities. Because for your average citizen, the way they view things, it almost seems like if the punishment is nothing. A little slap on the wrist, a little warning, don't do it again, little probation here and there, maybe some community service, tiny bit of jail time, and that's a problem because the other option is that you do nothing. Like that one officer actually said, leave the keys at the front because all they want is your car. So what are you supposed to do? Just relegate yourself to, if you hear a banging in your house, you just stay inside your room, lock yourself inside of a panic room and hope for the best? The way things are going right now, if the option is to lock yourself in your room, I promise you the home invasions won't stop because now criminals will look at it as this is easy access to a house with plenty of stuff. And let's just say you did nothing. They break in and they try to take stuff. Do you think they're just going to be merciful? That brings me to this story now.
With a small business owner, Abdul Aleem Farouki. He was confirmed to be the victim of a home invasion on Saturday. And I was just wondering if you were aware of his murder, what you've heard about it and your thoughts on the situation.
Well, my prayers and thoughts go out to the family and my condolences to the Ahmadiyyan community plus their entire family. It's heart-wrenching. I just got off the phone with the chief out there of York Region Police. They're using every resource they possibly can. And this innocent man got his doors kicked in the middle of the night. 4 people went in there. His 3 kids are there. His wife had a gun to one of the kids. He went to go protect them. And these scumbags shot him right in front of his kids. Shot him dead twice. Just imagine, what the trauma these kids are going to go through for the rest of their lives. And, I could tell you story after story about this, but we need to do something. I talked to the federal government over the weekend. Enough is enough. People are done with the crimes every single day. Innocent people are getting their doors kicked in by a bunch of thugs, a bunch of murderers, criminals, and you go to root cause. It's the weak criminal code that needs to be changed by the federal government. We're sick and tired of seeing these thugs get out on bail. And I watch when they catch these guys, I almost guarantee you they've been out on bail for another heinous crime, breaking into houses. This doesn't happen just once in a blue moon. This is happening multiple times a day, every single night across Toronto and the GTA area. These are people that are carjacking people. I heard in Shoppers Drug Mart on my riding happened twice. Two houses got broken into over the weekend. That's just in one small area, but this is happening all over the place. The chief told me a 12-year-old had a gun, shot someone. Like a 12-year-old. You got to be kidding. But this is the weak system the federal government needs to change. Bail reform. Rather than our judiciary system that has totally failed the people of Ontario, these weak-kneed judges that let these people out on bail not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 and 5 times, just to go repeat the crime. There's no consequences at all for these people. It's absolutely sickening that Canada and Ontario is in this position. It's worse than the U.S. cities happening now. We need the criminal code to be changed on mandatory sentences. You go in with a gun, you shoot someone, obviously you should be getting life in jail, but if you don't shoot someone, you should be getting 25 years in jail. Any crime with an illegal gun. The federal government's more worried about going after legal hunters and gun owners than criminals. That's what they need to do, and the Young Offenders Act. These kids are 16 years old shooting people, there's no consequences. So we're going to change it.
So here's the thing. You change the criminal code, or people will eventually take matters into their own hands. Read into that what you will, because if the option of someone that breaks into your house is your life versus theirs, everyone 10 times out of 10 is going to choose their own life. And so all of that reminds me of an interview that I watched a couple days ago. Here, check this out.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford has made his thoughts known after a home invasion that happened in Lindsay earlier this week.
Something is broken. I know if someone breaks into my house or someone else's, you're going to fight for your life. This guy has a weapon. You're going to use any force you possibly can to protect your family.
So here's the backstory, right? The intruder is facing a number of charges, but the home's resident is also facing charges of aggravated assault and assault with a weapon. Story obviously raising questions about how self-defense laws work in this country. With more on this, I'm joined by criminal defense lawyer Kim Schofield. It's good to have you, and everyone's talking about this, right?
Yes.
And we're a little bit unclear on the rules, it appears. Many people have expressed surprise, including myself, that the victim in a home invasion robbery is the one charged with aggravated assault. There are charges on both sides, but the victim is charged with aggravated assault. Is that surprising to you that we're surprised by this?
Well, it's not surprising that there are charges, because this is a situation where it's not just a self-defense. There was a knife involved, and the injuries were so serious that it resulted in the invader. And I know that it's a situation where you think you can do anything you want or anything to defend yourself. And that is true to a certain extent. You can do anything that's reasonable in the circumstances.
Let me just explain something. These situations don't happen usually in broad daylight. This happens at nighttime. So for most people, you're asleep. You're woken up not by your alarm, not by your phone ringing, not by the television. You're woken up normally to some form of a loud bang at your door or smashing your window. Now, when that happens, you don't just peacefully get up out of bed. You pop up Your adrenaline is now pumping. You're panicking because you don't know what that was. Every person around always does an assessment. Even though it's dark, they try to look around to see if maybe something fell. And then usually pretty quickly you can assess that more than likely someone's in your house. And if that's the case, you're suffering from a lack of information. You don't know how many people you're dealing with. You don't know who it is that you're dealing with. You don't even know if maybe you're just making a mistake and something fell off the counter. In the assumption that it is people, you might not even know what it is that you have around you to be able to defend yourself with a weapon if you have to get one. You don't know where they are. You don't know what they want. And then the worst one, you also don't know what they have. Assessing all of that in a few seconds is beyond difficult to then keep calm. You're more than likely in your own bedroom, so you don't even know if someone's waiting for you around the corner just to kind of peep your head out. All of this transpiring. And I'm sorry, you're supposed to keep calm? No, if you break into someone's house, you're asking for whatever problems transpire after that.
And that is true to a certain extent. You can do anything that's reasonable in the circumstances, not
reasonable?
anything you can. So when Doug Ford speaks of, well, it's surprising that you can't do anything you can, it's really anything that's reasonable. And that's what the law is. And in this case, the police found that, at least on their investigation, it was not reasonable.
Let's talk about the knife, because court documents show that the resident had a knife.
Yes.
At what point does self-defense become assault?
Okay, and this is always context-based. So let's say you someone is in your home and you're walking by the kitchen. You don't have to think, oh, I'm going to get the dullest knife. I'm going to get the knife that will, in fact, inflict the least amount of harm. But you get a knife, you grab what's there, and you're confronted. So you defend yourself. So 1 stab, 2 stabs, who knows what the number. But let's say the person starts to run away. Are you able to then pursue and stab this person repeatedly in the back? I'm not saying that's what happened here, but there's a point. So unlike the American situation where you can do anything to defend your home, in Canada we do anything that's reasonable or proportionate in the circumstance. But we don't need to measure force because it's impossible to measure force.
So it's that easy to use reasonable force, right? Protect yourself from this. That's not a toy in his hand. And this is from the inside. Reasonable force, right?
At a point when you're afraid, your adrenaline's high. So it really is context-based. Now, the police have discretion whether to charge or not. But in a situation like this, I think they're really saying, we'll just leave it up to the judge.
Police have discretion, yes, but only based on the laws that are written on the books, according to the criminal code. Fix the code, all of a sudden, they have to go by a new set of laws.
Is there a case here?
I think there's a case on both sides. Now, maybe once the Crown looks at it, they'll say, well, in light of these circumstances, we're not going to proceed. Because in this province, unlike other provinces, we have no pre-charge screening. We have post-charge screening. So the charge is laid, and then the Crown screens it to see if there's a reasonable prospect of conviction. So it may be a situation where this never actually proceeds much further. We don't know.
In this case, Kim, who is facing the more severe charge? Is it the home's resident, or is this the alleged intruder?
Okay, so the severity of the charge, we look at the maximum sentence.
Yeah.
So maximum sentence on a residential break and enter is life.
Okay.
Maximum sentence on an aggravated assault is 14 years.
Self-defense.
So maximum sentences is what you look at, but they're both very serious charges.
I just picture, you know, somebody's in your home, you're woken up out of a dead sleep, and then you are defending yourself. So you're doing everything you can in the moment. To think that you would, in that moment, think, is this reasonable defense?
Right.
It's got to be some gray area.
Oh, it absolutely is gray area. So it's really in the moment. That's the key here. But I think there's something about this case that maybe we don't understand, because the police looked at this and said something happened outside of in the moment.
Okay.
Right. So that's really what they would have had to say. So in the moment means you're defending yourself. You're even maybe to a certain degree, an extent of pursuing is allowed, because you have to get this person out of your home.
Right.
But you can't just get mad, and there's no vigilante justice. So that's where you have to start to draw the line, where vigilante justice, or I'm going to get back at this person for what they've done, as opposed to defend yourself. So that's really the nuance in this situation. And unlike the American situation, where the defense to that extent is legislated, we have self-defense and defense of property under our criminal code is legislated, but it leaves it open, very much open.
Well, this is going to be very interesting to watch how this plays out. Kim Schofield, thanks for your time this morning. We do appreciate.
Nah, let that man out. He did nothing wrong. That's all I got for now. Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you again on the next one. Be easy, y'all.